Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. I am Fatma Nasir, lecturer from University of Education, Lower Mall campus, Lahore. The subject is evolution and principle of systematics. The main teacher for this subject is Dr. Muhammad Mudassir Shehzad from Division of Science and Technology, Township campus, Lahore. The topic which we are going to discuss today is sexual selection. Here we have all the points which we will cover in this lecture. First of all, we will discuss about sexual selection, then its history, then purpose, then the natural selection versus sexual selection, different strategies, different mating systems, and types of sexual selection, sexual dimorphism, and at the end we will discuss about the benefits of sexual selection. Types of mating systems. Here we have four types of mating systems: monogamy, polygyny, polyandry, and promiscuity. Number 1, monogamy. Monogamy is the behavioral pairing of a single male with a single female. It is the most common in birds and rare in other animals. Theoretically, individuals in monogamous pairs will both contribute to the defense and parental care of the offspring. So, monogamy is a type of relationship in which only one male and one female partner will be involved, and both are equally contributing to the defense and the parental care of their offspring. And this behavior is most commonly noticed in the birds rather than any other animal species. Number 2, polygyny. Polygyny is the association of one male with multiple females. This mating system is found in a few birds and insects, but is most common in mammals. Polygyny is a strategy used by males to increase their reproductive fitness. As you can see in the image, that this is a type of relationship in which only one male partner and multiple female partners are involved. This type of relationship is found in few birds and insects and is most commonly found in the mammals. Polygyny is a strategy used by males. Males use this strategy to increase their reproductive fitness. So the purpose behind the polygyny is to increase the fitness by the male members. Number 3, polyandry. Polyandry is a group with one female and many males. Polyandry is a reproductive strategy that helps a female ensure reproductive success by providing her with multiple mating options. Here you can see in the image one big female bee and small male members. So polyandry is a type of relationship in which one female mates with many males to ensure the reproductive success. So the purpose behind polyandry is that female will have more than one mating partner, so that the mating will be successful and the offspring will be produced. Number 4, promiscuity. In promiscuity, there are no pair bonds, and males and females, although sometimes choosy, often seem to mate randomly, and it is typically more advantageous for one or both sexes to pick their mate. Promiscuity may occur in species for which the environment is unpredictable. So, promiscuity is a type of relationship in that there is no limitation. So the females and males both are choosy, and they randomly choose the mates for the mating. Now the types of sexual selection. There are two types of sexual selection. The first one is intrasexual selection, and the second is intersexual selection. Now we will discuss about the first type of sexual selection, that is intrasexual selection. First we will read this, then I will explain it to you. It's a male to male competition. Number 1 point is specifically used for competition, where males compete for the females. It deals with the members of the same sex in a given species. Males fight with each other, and females mate with the winners. So intersexual selection or intersexual competition is a type in which males of the species compete with each other, or you can say that members of the same sex of the given species compete with each other. Particularly this type of behavior is seen in the males, so that's why we are saying it as male to male competition. Males compete with each other or fight with each other for the females, and at the end females mate with the ones who will be the winner of competition. Examples of intersexual selection. Many examples of intersexual selection are readily observable. Intersexual competition can be seen in elephants, seals, polar bears, or any other animal that fights a same-sex individual for mating, food, or territorial purposes. So intersexual competition takes place in the animals of the same species for many purposes. The main purpose is just not mating. There are other purposes too, like food, for the shelter, or for the territorial purposes. What is territorial? Territorial behavior is a type, is a behavior that we see in the animals, in which animals defends a particular area from other species to enter for the food and for the mating also. So in the territorial behavior, animals defend their boundaries from other animals. Okay, so intersexual competition arise between animals for, can be for the mating, can be for the food, or can be for the territorial purposes. And we can see in this type of competition in elephant, seals, in polar bears, or in the bears, where the male competition occurs. Male use their antlers for fighting with each other. Males of many species fight and compete for the opportunity to mate with available females. Male deer fight with their antlers, and enormous male elephant fight with their bulk to establish dominance and consequently the right to mate with the females. So male deers fight with their antlers, and the enormous or big elephants fight with their bulk, fight with their bulk to show the dominance or to show their right to mate with the females. Male red-winged blackbirds display and sing to establish their territories, the quality of which determines the number of mates they will attract. So the male red-winged blackbirds, they display and sing special type of songs to tell other animals about their boundaries or about their specific area. We can see the pictures of these in the coming slide. In the pictures you can see that two male deers are competing with each other by using their antlers, and the second picture is of male red-winged blackbird. You can see that it is showing its strength in the picture by the display of its body. Students, as we have discussed about the male to male competition in previous slides, so you can understand that the type of male to male competition occurs between animals before mating, because animals are competing with each other for mating. So it is understood that male to male competition takes place in animals before mating. That's why we can say that that is a type of that is pre-mating competition. Okay, so in the animals post mating competition also occurs. That means competition which will takes place in animals after the mating will be called as post mating competition. What is post mating competition? In the post mating competition, animals compete to protect their females from any other animal to mate with the female. Male dragonflies often guard their mates after copulation to ensure that the female lays her clutch of eggs before remating. So, male dragonflies protect their female to ensure to ensure that the female will lay the eggs which have been fertilized by that particular male before remating. Once the female will lay the eggs of that particular male, then that can remate with any other male. Okay, the next point is Male fruit flies sometimes transfer a substance to their mate that inhibits courtship by subsequent males. So, in the male fruit flies, they also show a specific competition by transferring a substance into their female partner that will inhibit the mating with any other male partner. Once the male has successfully rid the female of the sperm from a previous mate, he will proceed to re-inseminate her. So it means that first of all, one male and female, they have mating, and before before the laying of eggs, the female can't mate with any other partner. So first it will lay the eggs of the first male, and then the next procedure can be proceed. Some male parasitic worms cement the genitalia of their mates after copulation to form a copulatory plug. So, in the some parasitic worms, this type of behavior can be seen, in which the organisms cement the genitalia of their female partners. They release a substance that cement or that harden the or that works like a plug works like a plug on the genitalia of the female, and it stops the mating with any other male partner. So this is a type of post mating competition, in which males protects their females by showing different behaviors from mating with any other male partner. The second type of sexual selection is intersexual selection. It deals with the members of opposite sex within a given species. In intersexual selection, members of the competitive sex show off for mates, and opposite sex chooses the best display. Some examples include dancing, singing, or showing bright colors. In intersexual type of sexual selection, the male members cannot control access to the females. It means that males do not have the access to females. So what they do, the male members of the species advertise or display themselves. They can advertise or display themselves by singing, by dancing, by showing bright colors, by showing their body strengths, or by showing their particular body traits which are attractive or impressive by the opposite sex. So the male members try to impress or try to attract the females by showing or by advertising themselves, and at the end female chooses the one whose display will be the best. Examples of intersexual selection. For several decades after Darwin presented his theory of sexual selection, most naturalists discounted the importance of intersexual selection or mate choice. However, in the 1950s, a few scientists began to revisit this subject, and by the 1980s, mate choice had gained wide popularity as a topic of study. Intersexual selection is particularly about the mate choice by the female partners. In intrasexual, male-male competition occurs for can be occur for many purposes: for mating, for food, for shelter, for territory. But intersexual selection is particularly for the mate choice. So after the Darwin, the naturalist or scientist neglected this field, and they didn't given any importance to intersexual selection. But after 1950s and in the 1980s, this field was gained importance again, and this field was studied by the scientists and by the people again. Many exaggerated male traits are now thought to have evolved as the result of female mate choice. Although several competing hypotheses exist to explain the origin and maintenance of these female preferences. As we have discussed in the previous slide, that in intersexual selection, females females looks for the particular or impressive or bright traits in the males. They choose the one for mating who is having more exaggerated traits, or who is having bright colors or bodies, or whose body is very much strong. So because female was choosing or was selecting the male partners with exaggerated traits, that's why males started to evolve according to their exaggerated characters. It means that in the coming generations, the exaggerated traits was being developed, because the female choose only the one who is having more exaggerated traits, because females thinks that the one who is having exaggerated traits is the strongest of all the members. Ronald Fisher proposed an explanation called runaway sexual selection in the Genetical Theory of Natural Selection in 1930s. Fisher suggested that as females began to evolve a preference for a particular male trait, such as tail feather length, these females would be more likely to mate with the males who displayed the preferred trait. As I have told you in just now in the previous slide, that females prefer a particular trait in their male partner, because they think that the male who is having that particular trait will be the strongest of all the candidates. These traits can be the tail feathers length. These traits can be the bright colors of the male partner, or their body strength. So females preferring those males only who is having the particular male trait, and who will display that particular trait in intersexual selection, in the intersexual selection, and that particular male will be selected by the female for the mating. The offspring of these matings would inherited the genes for both the male trait and the female preference, resulting in a genetic correlation between the preference and the trait. So what is it means? It means that the offspring or the coming generations of those particular male and female, their offspring will also have they will the parents will inherit the genes in them, in the females for the preference of the particular traits, and in the males for the display of particular traits. So their offspring or their next generations they will have both the preference and the particular male traits. Consequently, as the male trait spreads because females prefer it, the female preference itself also spreads because it is linked with the male trait. This is called a self-reinforcing choice, and is one way that exaggerated male traits can evolve without conferring any direct benefits on the females who prefer them. It means that because of the selection by the females, these preference and these traits was transmitting or was inheriting into their coming generations, and this is called as self reinforcing choice. Another explanation for the evolution of female choice is called the handicap hypothesis. So, what is handicap hypothesis? It is about the exaggerated male traits. As I have told you in the previous slides, that exaggerated male traits, due to these exaggerated traits, males find difficulty in their lifestyle, because first of all they find difficulty in their flight, and also they find difficulty because they are prominent to the predators. So it is a disadvantage of having those exaggerated traits. But still, males are evolving with these traits because female prefer them with the traits. Why female prefer a male with these exaggerated traits? Because female thinks that a male who is having the particular male traits or the particular exaggerated traits, is a healthy and strong and fit male for survive and for mating. That's why female, due to the female preference, males evolved, and males develop the particular traits in them. In his study Mate Selection, a selection for a handicap 1975, Amos Zahavi suggested that exaggerated male traits indicate to females that the male is healthy enough to survive despite his substantial handicap. The exaggerated trait is a signal through which a female can assess a male's genetic quality, and therefore is often called a good gene hypothesis. This is another way that exaggerated male traits can evolve without directly benefiting the females who prefer them. So we can see that there is no direct benefit of exaggerated traits on the female, but still these are developing because of the female preference. And the male who is showing or displaying his exaggerated traits, it is a signal to the female that this male is having very good genes and a very good genetic quality. Now we have another example of intersexual selection. Other explanations of the evolution of female mate choice include sensory bias. For example, female frogs prefer males who call loudly or in a low pitch because they can hear them better. And direct benefits, for example, female might prefer males who provide superior resources, defense, or parental care. So here, except the exaggerated traits, some other things are also here which are preferred by the female, and these things are that females that in female frogs they prefer the males who produce special sounds to attract their female partners, and in the and females also prefer those males who provide superior resources, who provide plenty of resources to them, who can provide a defense, who can care for their female partners, or who can give the parental care to their offspring. So except the exaggerated traits, some other traits are also here which are preferred by the female, and those traits can be particular songs or particular dancing patterns, or the plenty of resources, or the defense of parental care by their male partner. Sexual selection leads to sexual dimorphism. So first of all, what is the meaning of dimorphism? Dimorphism means the existence of two different forms that can be or due to the different color or different size or different shape or different weight. So sexual selection leads to sexual dimorphism, where there is a distinct difference between males and females. Sexual dimorphism tells about the differences between males and females due to their secondary sex characteristics. What are the primary sex characteristics? Primary sex characteristics are about the reproductive organs of the males and females. Like if we want to distinguish between males and females due to their reproductive organs, so we know that in the females ovaries are there for the reproductive as their reproductive organs, and in the males testes are there as their reproductive organ. So these are the primary sex characteristics, but sexual dimorphism tells the differences in the individuals, in the males and females due to their secondary sex characteristics. And secondary sex characteristics can be the size, the weight, the color, the behavior pattern of the organisms. So point number 2 is sexual dimorphism is differences in morphology and behavior between males and females of the same species. Differences may include secondary sex characteristics, size, weight, color, markings, and may also include behavioral differences. Sexual dimorphism is the condition where the two sexes of the same species exhibit different characteristics beyond the differences in their sexual organs. Means despite the differences in sexual organs, we can also differentiate between males and females on the basis of their secondary sex characteristics. For example, in some species, including many mammals, the male is larger than female. In others, such as some spiders, the female is larger than the male. We have also discussed one example in role reversal in this lecture. In those, females are larger than the males. So these type of differences are found in the organism, where maybe in some species the male is larger, in some species the female is larger. Other sex-specific differences include color. Most birds, song in birds, size or presence or parts of the body used in struggle for dominance, such as horns, antlers, and tusks. Size of the eyes in the case of bees. Possession of stings, various kind of bees, and different thresholds of for certain behavior, aggression, infant care, etc. So in the last point, these are the examples of secondary sex characteristics. First of all, we have discussed on the basis of size that in some species the male can be larger in size, and in some species the females can be larger in size. And in there can be the color differences between male and female. Males are males are with a particular color, a specific color, and females are with any other color. And birds also produce songs, and their size or the presence of parts of body used in struggle for dominance, as we have discussed about antlers in the deers, that they use their antlers for the fighting between for the competition. So these things can also be considered as the secondary sex characteristics. And the size of the eyes in the bees, possession of stings in various kind of bees, and the behavior patterns of the organisms. These all the things can be considered as the secondary sex characteristics. So the difference between males and females due to their secondary sex characteristics is called as sexual dimorphism. These are the images for sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism is the differences of size, color, voice, and so on between the two sexes in different animal species is known scientifically as sexual dimorphism. In the images here, you can see the differences between males and females. That these are here the differences between male and female is on the basis of their size. You can see that in the pictures, in the two pictures which are at the bottom, the males are bigger in size than the female, and in the picture which is on the top, the female is larger in size than the male. Benefits of sexual selection. Researchers shows that competition among males for reproduction provides a really important benefit because it improves the genetic health of population. So from the first point, we can understand that the male to male competition between organisms, it gives a great benefit to them because their genetic health improves by this, and also their reproductive fitness level can also increase by having the competition. Okay, the next point is sexual selection achieves this by acting as a filter to remove harmful genetic mutations, helping population to flourish and avoid extinction in the long term. So sexual selection also in this process also helps to remove or to filter the harmful genetic mutations. By this, the weaker genes or the harmful genes can be eliminated, and only those traits or genes will be selected that will be suitable for the reproduction rate of the organisms. So in that way, it helps the populations to flourish and to avoid extinction. So when the organism will have successful reproduction, then it will help to maintain their population also. And by choosing particular traits and particular particular traits and particular genes, genetic mutation can also be removed, and the weaker genes can also be eliminated. It was all about today's lecture. Thank you very much. Have a good day.